Good morning, everyone. Yeah, so this market definitely is like schizoid. What shook it up? I don't know. Yesterday I mentioned, is it afraid of heights? I don't know. Anticipation of whatever's going to come this week out of the Fed chair's mouth. It wants these cuts in the worst way, which don't seem to be coming. But you know, so this morning, recovering from the dip. So let's see what's going on here. So this looked amazing. Yeah, I don't know, maybe a little short of amazing, but it looked pretty darn good coming into the this week, um, with the ability to continue to go higher. And yes, yesterday, and I know, maybe I didn't see any significant news out there. Reason why, the selling was, pronounced. And it didn't stop at this minor support level that we talked about pre-market yesterday. It didn't stop there. As it got into this area, it began to stabilize, and it even made an attempt to turn up. And we know what happens when that fails from that level. It's going to go, well, it's going to do one of two things. It's either going to retest the low, which it did, and something you can see the 15-minute chart there. It makes a lower low, which often results in that's where it does move higher. It's a W with a new low plus, we call it. And then it'll rally from there. And then from that point, it just couldn't do it. So, we use this expression, it went down because it didn't go up. Well, that's how it works. While we look for whatever reasons, technically, we look to the left, support and resistance. When one level fails to hold prices and it goes sideways for a while, typically it goes down to the next level. And, that was yesterday. And the crazy part about it was, as this strength that occurred, it gave it all back. So a return to what we call major support is not a positive thing. It's just not, because that move creates that void, and it's supposed to pull back to minor support or somewhere in there, create some support, and then go higher. Now, daily chart in an uptrend, now questionable, beginning a sideways trend. We see what's happening. You can see where it is here today. It's gapping up to the top of the red bar. That's schizo stuff. So today, does it fill the gap, roll back over? Does it this get gapped up, get sold, which will be telling if it happens, where for whatever reason it's gapping up. I don't know, whatever news might be out there today. Or whether it's just technical move up off of this major support area, coming up, into the top of yesterday's bar. We'll see if it fills the gap. Does this continue sideways? If this goes sideways for a while without taking out this high, it starts to take on the look of an upside shakeout, which would be suggestive of breaking lower. Too early to tell. Of course, we'd see if, by the end of the day on Friday, whether we got a red bar, a bottoming tail bar, a green bar that's above the high. Everybody knows prices are extended, thinking, it'll continue to go up. Nothing wrong with thinking it'll continue to go up. But we all know that there's bumps along the way, and it's been a long time since there's been a bump. Okay? What's a bump? It's some kind of a pullback, right? Which could be down to these levels here, either one of these major support levels down here. And then we take it all over again. Hey, we're near 50 MA, major support. Let's look for bottoms, so on and so forth. Let's see what's showing relative strength. We go through the factory work. So, right now, there's a lot of things that, got damaged. Some of the Magnificent Seven, as they're called, magnificent, they're going to look in a little while, but look at the size of that wide range bar on Microsoft. So this one was beginning to become questionable early, where it was flip-flopping around. Google, So these have been leading the market. So if the breadth doesn't expand, right, which we talked about, transports and the Russell need to start moving up. And while there are some financials that look decent, there are others not moving, so they need to play some catch up. But look at Google, look at Tesla. Right? That gave it up. It was grinding up. Looked like it was trying to make a bottom. Now, possibly, could that be heading down to that major support down there? I kind of hope so. Be a good buying area where to stabilize. Netflix, not bad, but look, it's in an uptrend. We'll see if it recovers. It's gapping up a bit. Apple, of course. How can we forget Apple? That's kind of leading the way down. It's coming down to this major support area. So market's holding up generally well, but a lot of damage being done. XLF just kind of still chopping sideways. We'll see which way that's going to break. Energy, a lot of flip-flop action here. That's gapping up here this morning. Guess crude oil, that's up. That's up a bit, but nothing decisive. Earlier in the week, I said I want to see this thing have another day above this resistance. It couldn't do it. Let's get to the others. So look, here's the spiders. Look, gapping up to the top of the red bar. That's schizoid. Came down toward this major support, and it held. It was like it's freaking ping pong, but dip, big dip move down here, and now, gapping back up again. So just so erratic. Just stay away from the broader markets for now, unless you're day trading, because these aren't swing setups, and we'll just see what particular stocks set up that look like they're going to go lower. There's more of them now, or that are going to. Some are still going to move up, of course. I'm saying we had a lot of mortgage data this AM. Unemployment change February, maybe. Well, I'm talking about yesterday. Yesterday the selling was close to relentless. So, on a higher time frame, it just continued to go down. It was a steady move down, but as it reached certain levels where there would be buying, buyers couldn't lift it up. Although there's the cues of the futures, this showed relative strength. It had a little breakdown failure. So in the room, I said, look, I was in it too. And I was like, okay, and I said in the moment, I said, this ain't going to work. I forget exactly what the moment was, but this had all the opportunity to rally up maybe to this level or so after this breakdown and recovery. And after a little while, it doesn't go up. Odds are it's going to go down. So, and that's what it did. It had the little blip at the end off of this support level. Again, look to the left, no magic there. And, there's the gap up. The mortgage data today, unemployment change. I don't know, Don, the market is just, as I think schizophrenic is the proper word for the price action here. Whatever the depression was caused by yesterday, some unemployment numbers causes a gap up today. I mean, it's lunacy. Anyway, it is what it is. Nothing we could do about it. So we'll see what Mr. Powell has to say at 10 o'clock, when 10:30, 11, wherever he's going to be talking there. And then tomorrow, transports don't look good. Don't look good. I mean, this kind of action is good for credit spreads, if you can find the premium and a reasonable time to expiration, but directionally, this is just the kind of pattern that, a credit spread trader is like, oh man, that's like heaven. That's like an iron condor situation there. If it's got, premium above and below, you got price action being intersected by multiple moving averages with pivot highs below, wide and above and below. That's a credit spread trader's dream pattern. For a directional trader, this is like move on. This is retardation action going on here. So it is what it is. SPX, here's the levels for today. So this is gapping up here. Who knows what news is going to come out? The open is in the middle of the ranges there. So, take your pick. I mean, unless he comes out and says he's going to cut interest rates, which is highly unlikely, I don't even know that he would even mention that. It's probably typical answer is going to be things are improving, they're going our way, but they're not really there yet. Something encouraging, but not saying they're ready to cut. We'll see. That's the unknown. So what he says and how he says it, his tone of voice and demeanor could move the market in either direction. All right. Interest rates. Well, there is too much power for one man, but look at the nut job in the White House. Who's pulling his strings? There's too much power there too. What kind of embarrassment is coming for America when he starts talking Thursday night? Hopefully he can stand there for an hour without chewing his tongue. Anyway, interest rates coming down, and the market's coming down with it. So that correlation of lower interest rates helping the market, it's not happening right now. The dollar, kind of flattish here, not really doing anything. But look, we're just in a period here of uncertainty. And so there are still very positive underlying things like this movement in the semiconductors that occurred, very positive. Things are extended. They have to correct at some point, which is just natural. And this has gone on maybe a little bit too long. So this shouldn't be a surprise. But look, as individuals that are involved in the market day to day, to see prices come out of a consolidation and look great, and 2 days later look like, what the hell happened? And then now it's gapping up. Today, it's like, okay, let me just take my marbles here and sit on the side here for a day or so and see what happens. This still looks good. Retailing, that looks good. Financials still look good. They're just consolidating here, but with the extension as they are, they're just like begging, not begging, but very ripe for a break of the support to pull back within the uptrend. Prices extended as they are. So, I guess I shouldn't complain too much. It's just, we know it's coming, but when, things just keep going up as they have been, and then it just gets, a little crazy in the moment, kind of without any heads up, actually saying, hey, let's go a little higher before, we get a little pullback, and then it just flips in the other direction. Little hard to digest in the short term. Let's just leave it like that. Gold, I said back here, looks like it's ready to go. I didn't expect it to go that much so fast, but it is what it is. Silver popped up here. So they look like they're going to continue to go higher. And Bitcoin, right, a little too much, too fast, came up to the prior high. Just congestion over there on the left side. Down, up 5,000, down 6,000, up 4,000. And so that'll be chopping around for some time there. Well, is that after the bell, Alex, Ross, and JW? Or is that are already before the bell? So ROST, Ross Stores, typically is a winner amongst retailers, discount store. And you can see the big move it's had. So if it gaps up, that could get sold into. And this is actually down. Oh, it's a bit of a gap down. So the numbers are already out and it's gapping down. So, and JWN is still around. I guess so. Well, that's gapping down considerably. So, look, the bull party seems to be over, but for the moment, but not done. Let's see what happens after Mr. Powell speaks and what that brings for us in the next couple of days. All yours, Dan. Yeah, KRE, you mentioned by there, that had a big day yesterday. So that little bit of relief from that potential, you know, damage that could be done.
Yeah, we're in high band, and we said there should be a lot of similar looking patterns. And so Don asked me what I thought the market was going to do at the open, and I was totally wrong. My guess was relatively flat after yesterday's shellacking. So, just another sign of bulls in control. Hey, Alex, this update changed my freaking colors here, my candles. You'll have to show me how to change that later. They look like ice cream, lime ice cream. Why the heck did they do that to me? Uh, all right, alarms here. Well, I got a Schwab up alarm. We're long stock, so that looks good. Alex showed me GE. And I've been saying in the green room, it was on the cover of Barron's. And I'm like, you know what? That's usually a short-term top after they've been moving, and then they get plopped on the cover. It's like, now you're celebrating my success. And so that I like as a call spread. Yesterday's low. Now let's go to earnings here. Well, I'm admitting to you, this is substantially bigger gap than I would have guessed. So I was totally wrong. Um, when you say moderate, I would throw that in the category of less than 40%. I mean, the Qs are a monster gap here, but yeah, the fangs were all taken out to the woodshed yesterday. Look at NVIDIA gapping up here to all-time highs. Incredible little bull flag buy setup right here. Incredible. It's going higher till it's not. All right, box. Bullish gap, but no pattern. WTI. Now, if this were not a $3 stock, I would I'd say short yesterday's low. Look how you could see the same symmetrical kind of triangle here on the daily and weekly, just with the condensed data, obviously. But look, this is a big bearish descending triangle. I just don't short. General rule, I don't like to short under, I'd say $7. Rost, big gap, a call spread candidate. We're in DG, so I wanted to see what it was going to do to our DG. But look, DG's up. So Rost is not hurting that at all. Maybe they're separate enough. I don't know. ODD getting whacked here. 41.50, but no pattern. Bingo looks horrible. It was a potential bottoming pattern. All right, here, let me just send that to myself, Alex. I'm not going to take the time now, but thanks. It's like, what is wrong with their developers? Why do you want to change my colors on every one of my charts? What did I do wrong to you?
You're
Net.
Dan Gibby. If it's technical, it's going to happen.
Mhm.
You
I,
have a you have a brown thumb when it comes to technology, Dan.
you know what? Talking about brown thumb, I got kicked out of Facebook yesterday, and then
Oh,
it said, reset your password, and it wasn't taking my reset, and tried over and over again, different computers. I'm like, F it, I guess I ain't be using Facebook anymore. And then it came back 2 hours later, and then I read in the journal today that they had another nationwide outage.
wow.
I'm like, that's what happened to me.
That looks like you got to change the border around the candles to black. I know on my platform, I don't use that one, but you can change the border of the candles to different colors.
Nah, my border's fine. They changed. This was dark green, and now it's like a friggin' lime ice cream.
Mm. Your
Um,
wicks are barely visible.
yeah, well, let's mess with it later. So this gapping down can be a call spread idea. Um, I don't see any gap, but that's in a death trend. So there's a short. I said under $7, so there, I just made my trade-off. It's down a couple bars, so it's not a great swing trade, but it had earnings. And so if it cannot gap up on earnings and opens flat, short it. Short the low. Base, that was a breakout failure. Now with the pro gap up, you got a little downside shakeout. So that's bullish. But gaps accepted for me, but watch a pullback. No fix, no pattern. Uh, I see it gapping up. We'll come back to it. Smiler. That thing got killed into earnings. Gapping up to 41. 15-minute high. You might get a day trade long because of this big void. Gapping to $6. 30-minute high might give you a little bounce. Wow, it's like getting its head chopped off, and it's already in a death trend. ABC looks ugly. All right, gap's too big, but beautiful bottoming pattern with a downside shakeout, closing breakout. But gap's too big. Crowd. So I need help in the green room on this sector. Look at the size of this gap. Wowzer to all-time highs. That is a monster gap. I have it here in the middle chart. So I want absolutely nothing to do with this stock. Although my body, it's a monster gap. But I call it excessive. So 30-minute low, call spread for Friday. It's surely going to be jacked. But let's check the key cousins. 2480. There's a bullish gap, but the resistance, JD, let's watch a pullback. The gap's so big, I would want the pullback to occur like over 3, 4 to 5 days. 57, bearish gap, but no pattern. So 107, I have in the bottom right here. I have this, I just call it excessive gap watch. That's all. ANF, wow, I thought this was finally going to crack. Look at these moving averages. That is amazing railroad tracks. And if you took the candles off, you can see how the 20 MA just recently is starting to turn up more. So, I mean, I would have loved for this thing to gap up 10, 15 bucks. And then I would have been fairly certain that would be a exhaustion gap. But right now, I don't know what to do. Where leave off Florida. Florida, and this is the only earnings trade we did, and it's gapping against us. But we have the 28 puts, so we still have $2 of comfort. So with 97% confidence, we're going to have a nice open profit at the open. We just got to deal with these freaking spreads. So I just put a bid out for nickel to close, and I'll just wait for a few minutes, seconds for the spreads to tighten. This kind of a head and shoulders pattern, but gapping up 339. That's a bullish gap, so I want to see how much room I have. The problem is not much room on the weekly, but it could be the start of a long-term bottom on the monthly. We have G gapping to 19, no pattern. Unfee, no pattern, big mess. Abgo 303. There's a 30-minute high trade. Target 200 MA, which should be over 10% return. So that's not bad, Abgo. Is that cold? What's little Abgo? No, especially retail as well. EV Go. All right. I think I'm confusing it with Ego. EGO is going. All right, this was up, now down. Could be a day trade short, depending how it sets on. Trend, nothing. AR wagging, nothing. All right, perfect timing. We're done with earnings trades. EQR alarm just went off. This I was hoping for 1, 2, 3. There's a number of nice wide range bars yesterday. Look at TMUS. I hope we get a 1, 2, 3. TMUS looks fantastic. Sam mentioned AAP, but didn't remind me. SMCI all-time highs gapping up with. Here we go. Eco. I was hoping for 1, 2, 3. So this looks great. Our crowd coming in. EVGO. I'm sorry, ENOV. This looks great as a new trade, preferably 30-minute high. Al starts talking at 10. I'm assuming he'll have a little prepared kind of words, which means, we'll want to wait till 10:05 and see if there's any reaction to that. I know there's also some 10 a.m. numbers, but this looks fantastic. I got crowd on the other computer. I'll give it to subscribers, just saying 30-minute high watch. Hey, Robert. MODN alarm. Ah, shoot, it hit my up alarm. All right.